What if every customer inquiry got answered 24/7 with no intervention from humans, even at 3 a.m. on a Christmas morning? The reality is that most businesses out there nowadays lose customers because they simply don't get to the support quick enough, or whether it be the lead or the customer inquiry. So in this video, we're going to go over in literally 30 minutes how you can implement an automated customer service system into your business that utilizes AI. My name is Rayne. I've been responsible for 2 7-figure technology businesses in the last 10 years. And on this channel, we cover everything from artificial intelligence to automation to actually selling some of these things as an AI agency yourself. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to see you in the presentation just now. So subscribe to this channel if you like AI content, you're running an AI agency, or you simply just want to know how you can automate your business more. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this presentation just now that's going to cover exactly everything you need to know in order to set up a 24/7 AI customer service team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Hope everyone's fantastic. And you guys are here with me either live, watching this back through the replay, watching it on YouTube, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And what are we here to speak about today? We are here to speak about scaling your customer support to 24/7 without hiring anybody. Yes, you heard that correct. And as I said previously, this is a AI tutorial. So this session is going to show you guys how you can leverage AI to automate customer support to 24/7 without hiring anybody. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. So reduce your customer support time down to a 24/7 availability time from previously being limited hours, right? So this is incredibly important, whether you are a B2B business owner or a B2C business owner, or, any kind of business owner really, right? Because we all have customers and we all need to strive to give even better service. So we're going to go into handling unlimited concurrent customer inquiries automatically, reducing our support costs by 40 to 70%, and then creating a seamless customer experience with instant response times. So, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Hope you're all doing fantastic. You know me, I like to keep this all very fast-paced and give you guys as much value as possible. So for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Rayne, and I have been responsible for 2 7-figure and actually 1 8-figure technology business in the last 10 years now. Wow. Okay. And right now I am the CEO of RayneAI.com, and our objective is literally to help over 20,000 businesses this year use AI to make more money or save more money. All right. So now we've talked about me, which I don't like to do. Let's go into your 8-figure formula. So to establish roles here, which is very important, every presentation that I pretty much ever do, I always include this or something along the lines of this, because it's important that you guys get out of this what is relevant for you, but also what is actually your responsibility. Yeah, and what you can take away from this. So in terms of your product quality, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to be the savior here, but you guys are responsible for your product quality, right? So my responsibility inside of our community at RayneAI is to help you guys use AI in your operations, in your marketing, so your content in your channels, and then of course your actual direct response marketing and your paid acquisition. And you'll see that having a nice balance of all 3 of these engagement levels for your business creates this middle ground, right? And you've got to have all 3 of these, because your business literally just will not survive without even one of these, right? When I say let me reframe that, yeah? So your business will not survive if you have a really bad product. Let me put it that way. Your business can survive if, say, you do a lot of content very well and you miss out paid acquisition. That's fine, right? But the best businesses out there are doing all of these, and the best businesses out there are using AI for their marketing and for their operations. All right, so let's dive into AI for customer support 24/7. Why should you care? At the end of the day, I'm just a guy online that, probably some of you guys may have heard of before, but maybe if you're new on YouTube, this is a very new YouTube for me, right? So, maybe you haven't heard from me before on YouTube. We're very big in the paid ad scene, on the Facebook scene, and so on and so forth. But Why should you guys care about me? And also, why should you care about this, right? So let's break this down. AI support. So traditional customer support has clear limitations, limited hours, staff, and patience. Yeah. I always like to look at things like this, whether we're creating anything in business, right? Or anything in AI is like a more of a focused objective here, as like, if you're relying on humans all the time, humans, if you're scaling, and we have this older way of growing our business where it's like the more money you make in your business or that comes in from customers, the more we have to get humans, right? Now, in 2025, 26, and so on and so forth, we are in an environment where it's like you can make one employee worth in terms of output 4 employees, yeah, or even more than that, yeah, using AI. And that's why I say in our business at RayneAI.com, like, we're very focused on making all of our staff agnostic in both people skills, but also in AI skills, right? And, why is that? Because ultimately, if you're using technology to grow your business, you don't rely on humans, and maybe humans are falling out with the girlfriend or the boyfriend, or they've been out and drunk alcohol at the weekend, right? And maybe if they're in the sales team, they've done really bad, right, on the Monday. And as business owners, we can simply just not afford that. Yeah. We want our business to grow predictably. And that's what AI can allow us to do. So AI changes everything by working nonstop without breaks, salaries, or benefits. A lot of you guys probably know this, but it's very important to build this narrative here on why you should listen to actually when we go into the live demo of this thing. And of course, your customers get instant responses at 3 a.m. on even Christmas morning, right? Well, we're in this world right now where customers demand more by paying less. Right? So, you can get a customer that's spending $10 with you and they're expecting 24-hour support. And you can get a customer that is spending $100,000 and they don't expect anything, but the moment something goes wrong, they expect it done, right? Which is important. So customers are expecting more across the board, regardless of whether they're spending more, spending less. Generally, people that spend less have more requirements, right? Which is why it's even more of a use case for doing this, right? Because if a customer is spending $10 with us, respectfully, guys, we don't want to be spending all of our inside resource and all of our tech team or support team on dealing with a customer that's not spending much money, right? Alrighty, so one AI agent can handle hundreds of conversations simultaneously, scaling effortlessly as you grow. Why is this important, right? So in previous videos on, in this group, in the channel, whatever, we have gone through what an AI agent is, right? So check out those other videos, right? Because I don't want to repeat myself every time we go through these presentations. And the main thing that you need to understand here is that we're creating predictability in the business, not only for, customer inquiries, but also directional output. And what I mean by that is like, okay, well, if we have 1,000 people come into our AI agent and you connect that thing into whether it's your CRM or whether it's a notification system, your help desk, whatever, that's not going to get annoyed. It's just going to churn out the tasks, right? And it's going to move people to the next step, which is very important here because it's going to be effortless, right? And it can handle so many of these. It can actually answer questions on your behalf, but then it can focus on the ones that are, maybe higher level inquiries that it can't answer, that then it would hand over to a human, right? Which is very important. And, the reason why we probably can't automate everything 100%. And I post a lot about this. All right. So 3 ways to scale your customer support, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1, deploy AI agents. So implement conversational AI that handles common inquiries instantly. Your virtual team will work around the clock without breaks or benefits. So this is what we're going to actually build out today, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to, create some conversational AI chatbots and go into some of the software that my team have built and explain how we can actually do this. All right, so automate workflows. So create smart routing systems that direct complex issues to proper resources, which is very important because the simpler questions are going to get the instant responses and they don't need for a human to actually help people out. Maybe you create an AI agent that sends out forgot password requests, right? Because we run SaaSes, and the amount of customers that come to us and say, "Hi Elliot, we've got the password, like where do I go to reset it?" And you could literally just, automate that really low sort of level question by sending out the link straight to where they can reset the password. So you understand how this works, right? That doesn't require a human for that. And of course, we can scale infinitely, which is very, very important. These strategies all work together to transform your customer support from a bottleneck into a competitive advantage. There are no more missed opportunities or frustrated customers. One of the things that I love about this as well, because, for you guys that know, of course, I've been in technology for over 10 years now, right? And very differently to most people, because most people that go as deep in technology as I have, they go down the technology route and they struggle to comprehend how to tell people about it in a simple manner, right? Like, you spoke to developers and stuff before, and sometimes those conversations are very like blunt and like, I don't have a clue what this guy's talking about, sort of thing, right? Yeah. But the main important thing here is that, like, if you are able to understand both technology and also, how to actually speak that, you're in a very, very good place. All right. But the point I'm getting at here is, one thing I love about this is, like, if you put your marketing head on with this, you can say, all right, well, I'm going to automate my customer service, but clearly every customer service question has some kind of problem associated with it. And what does that mean? That means that there's opportunity to upsell, cross-sell. And that's where, like, I always ask the question when we implement AI or technology into any area of a business. It's like, what's this thing going to make us in terms of, like, what's the return on investment, right? And if you get really smart with this stuff, you can literally create bots that cross-sell your products and services, or cross-sell people into booking a call with you, right? Which is really the opportunity here, I think, in order to grow the revenue in your business. All right, so the reality: the only way to automate customer support at scale is by creating an AI agent or a chatbot. So just a quick recap. I know we've covered this in a million lessons, but I'm just going to do it. So definition: what is an AI agent? So an AI agent is a sophisticated software program that operates independently to complete tasks and solve problems. All right. It combines machine learning, natural language processing, or NLP, and decision-making capabilities to deliver intelligent automation. And like a digital employee, AI agents continuously monitor businesses, data, interactions with customers, and systems performance, right? They respond in real time by executing tasks, making recommendations, and triggers automated workflows, right? Really important to understand, right? Because ultimately, a system like ChatGPT is very much a horizontal AI agent that's just going to give you a random response that's, maybe not as focused, and it's not really connected into tools. But we are creating here things and AI pieces that are connected into our CRM, connected into our Google Sheets, are connected into our calendar, right? Which is very important because we're interlinking everything. And that's the difference between, just a ChatGPT horizontal AI system and a vertical AI system that is an actual agent, right? Where you connect tools to it. Yeah. All right, so AI agents enhance business operations by handling lead conversion, generation, customer support, and they streamline administrative tasks, analyze market trends, and so on and so forth. Blah, blah, blah. You guys have heard this before, and definitely check out some of the other videos I've done to help you with this. All right, so types of AI agents, once again, very, very important. Horizontal agents, these are very broad, right? What we're going to be creating here is not a horizontal agent, all right? Very important for you guys to understand. We are creating a vertical agent, yeah? Now, what a horizontal agent is like, ChatGPT or, Anthropic and all these, different, Claude systems, Grok, DeepSeek, right? These places we go and, like, you can type and sort of get generic answers back, right? They're a master of everything and a specialist at none, yeah? And we're not trying to compete with those guys. Where the ultimate goal here for us is to create AI vertical agents. And these are use case specific AI agents to handle specific workflows. These are often built on top of horizontal agents. So an example of that is like creating a custom GPT on top of ChatGPT's model. Yeah. We're training it to make it relevant to our use case, whatever it is. I don't care whether you're asking it to scrape the internet, whether you're asking it to plan you a trip, whether you're asking it to make you content. We're creating use case specific AI instances that effectively are just called vertical AI agents. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you set it up. Let's do an integration example. Now, before I dive into this, the software that I'm going to be using is LeadFlow AI. And this is a software that my team own, right? And I'm not telling you guys to go out and, to buy this or whatever. Like, it's completely up to you because there's a million sort of bot builders out there. But we have a bunch. I'll put the link below if you want to check it out or whatever. And, you can pretty much just follow this training in order to set everything up. All right. So I'm just going to stop the video now. And we're going to dive into Leadflow and I'm going to show you how to set this stuff up. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. So we're inside of app.leadflowai.io. Now, before I get into this, I've got to say there is two main mechanisms we're looking at when we're building out these bots, right? Very important for you guys to understand. We have AI-enabled bots, right? So what I mean by that is effectively you let AI do the conversation, do the talking on your behalf. And then we've got logic, or what I like to call logic-based bots. And you don't even have to, if you want to create a logic-based bot, you don't even have to create an AI or conversational AI-based agent, right? That's really, really important to understand. You can just create flows, triggers, and I'm going to show you examples of kind of like how we can do both here, yeah? So you understand how this works. All right, so we're going to dive into a test bot just here, and I'm going to dive into it. So you can see here that I'm just going to put myself at the top here. There we go. So first of all, to start to build this bot, you can see we can go into build a bot bit here, right? And you can see we can choose exactly which, where the bot goes, whether it's on the left, whether it's on the right, so on and so forth, yeah? And we can see this widget title here. If I just go up to the top here, you'll see that this is actually I've given it a name. So I call it like test, let's call it we are live bot, right? All right, and then I'm just going to save that and you'll see how that's going to change. So we are live bot. All right. And you can see here, we've got, hey, welcome to Rain Holdings. We'll change this to RayneAI. Since I did this, we've actually rebranded as RayneAI.com, which is nice. You see here, I've just changed that and it's now, updated it. Right. And you can see like these messages have started to pop up. How did I do that? Let's go into that in a minute, right? And you see, just before I do this, you'll see that this get help here thing, if I just do a quick refresh, you see this get help here is where the actual icon will like prompt us and say, there we are, get help here, all right? So really important for you to understand. Avatar, you can change it from this orange thing here. You can put it to literally whatever you want, change the color, however you want, just there. And this is all like relatively easy to understand stuff, right? Okay, so that's pretty much all done in terms of like setting up the start of the bot, right? And this is like, of course, in a lot of different softwares and whatnot, like this is presented in different ways. But ultimately, I like to think about like if you use any software to do this, like you've still got to name your bot, you've still got to have an initial opening message, you've still got to make it look nice, you've still got to have some kind of fallback message, right? Which is like please refresh to start me again, right? This is if basically there's no response that you can give them, right? So we're going to say then this will just like direct them to start the chain again, or say for example if it disconnects or whatever. Right, now we're going to dive into the flow builder. Now what I want people to understand here is like what a flow builder is like contingent on triggers. Yeah. So what I mean by that is if you build out an entire AI flow or an AI chatbot as such, which I'll get onto the AI part of it as we go through, you need a certain, if this happens, do this. If this happens, do this, right? It's triggers and outputs, triggers and outputs, triggers and outputs. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by creating what's called a message box here. And we're going to immediately send them a message. And you'll see when I go back to test this, sort of how this works, right? So we go, really nice to meet you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask them a question. So you can see, if I want any of these blocks, by the way, I can just pull them in. It's really, really simple. But, the main objective of this bot, by the way, is to get emails from people, right? To get leads, because, of course, people are going to be on our bot, on our website, and they're going to be like, I want to see how this thing works, or I want to inquire, or I want support, or whatever, right? Like, however you want. Yeah. But the main objective for this, of course, with any customer service or any bot in general, is to sort of know who you're speaking to, right? And know based on emails, because if we have emails, we have power, right? And if someone comes to us and they say, like, hi, bot, hi, Mr. Bot, like, we're struggling with this, 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 and this, and you get their email, of course, you've kind of got a reason to message them then and follow up and say, hey, like maybe you like one of these other products. So you can see how we can like cross sell and make this not just a customer service bot, but actually something that is generating revenue for us. All right. So, and you can see here, like we're going to ask them like who's like basically who are we speaking to? So who do I have the pleasure of speaking to today? And it's going to wait for the response. You can see we're not actually in this flow. We don't actually need to show anything like what the customer is saying, because if we put a question, the system's gonna know that actually the answer is what they put, right? And of course, what I've done is I've named this section name, which is really important for any of you guys that are building out this stuff, because you'll see like a lot of technology companies and a lot of tech people use these like curly brackets, and that's because we want to create instances of repeating variables. All right, and in the least techy way, what does that mean? That means like if someone puts in details or responds and I want to use that in order to make it personal, then of course we want to find a way to recall that information. So it would say, who do I have the pleasure of speaking to today? And then of course they're going to say my name's Bob, right? And then it's going to say, awesome, I love the name. And then we're going to pull that variable from here, which is the name of the block. And we're going to say, I love the name Bob, right? Yeah. And then after that, we're going to, because we've already got them to commit to the process, we're going to ask them for the email. And I always like to do it like this because it gives them a reason to actually get the email. So it's like, what's your email in case we get disconnected? Da-da-da. And then after they give us their email, we're going to save that, right? Because we really want to make sure that we're always saving the data on our prospects. Yeah. So next up is, how do we create some kind of bot for customer service? Now, ignore this sort of, become a customer thing right now, because we're only focused on how do we create some kind of support mechanism. Yeah. So in this respect, we're going to go, how can we help, right? You could even do like, instead of become a customer, because these guys, if they're a support bot, it could already be a customer. You could literally change it to, what other products do you have, right? Just something that prompts that. And, the more of these that we do, the more we understand what's the best thing to ask, if you know what I mean, right? Because we're going to be getting more different customer inquiries, and that means we can make this thing even bigger. All right. So you can see here, this support spot's been created, and it's like new option. Yeah. So what the option is like, all right, so I've just swapped these here by accident. So this option is like that we've given, you can see we've given two options here. So it's like new option 1, what other products do you have? New option 2, support, right? So customer would click support, and then it'd be like, which thing do you need supporting? Yeah. And this bit here is like where we name the block and we ask the question, but we must click on this use options here. Why? Because we're going to have multiple choice options. Yeah. So what you can see just here is, and again, when I built this out, just because I wanted to make sure that we have, something built so I don't have to build it all for you live and it takes us hours, right? But what I did here is I already put in 3 different areas. So you got billing, logins and password, and then tech support. All right. So what we're going to do here, you can ignore this bit for now, this AI mode, because I'm going to explain how that works sort of pretty soon. Yeah. But for example, here we could have like billing. Okay. So they've now chosen billing, and we're like, all right, so every single customer that chooses billing, this can be different for every business, right? Maybe you have a support email or whatever, right? Every single customer that has a billing inquiry needs to do this thing. All right. So we're going to do this. I'm going to drop them a message in here. We're going to snap this in. We're going to click it, right? And we're going to go to here, and we're going to go, got it. Please open a chat on WhatsApp with our billing team, right? So you see how we're pretty much, directing people into this. And then you could have like, if I go into here, say like WhatsApp instant link chat, right? You can see here, like, this click to chat here or whatever, you could actually do like even this one. I think I've got an account on this. I do. Yeah. So you can create links on WhatsApp. You could create loads of them that go to different either email, different messaging accounts, or simply go to the same one and has like a different personalized message saying, I need billing help or whatever, right? Then you can stick your team on that and, you know, whatever and whatever, right? But if you don't want it to be as manual as that, which to be honest with you, I don't either, you can do two things. The first one is we can like direct them to email, right? Which is like, we can also set up, which I'm going to be doing in future videos, like AI actual helpers in your email account to actually pick up based on certain like inquiries. But we're not got to that point yet. So all I'm going to say is like, for billing help, please send your exact query to our problem. Can't spell query clearly. To our billing team, RayneAI.com. No, it would be, you know, just billing at RayneAI.com, right? So like you can see how we just make it really simple. Yeah, we direct them because we can create loads of different emails and do it that way. That's a little bit manual again, but it still, you know, directs people to the right place. Yeah. So, and that's pretty much it. But what we could also do is we could literally just say, like, I'm going to delete this block now. And we're going to go in here and we are going to, you know, pretty much just say to them, like, actually, we're going to do this. We're going to do question, right? And we're going to say, like, issue. We're going to say, please describe your billing issue, right? Now, this is pretty cool what I'm about to show you. Yeah. So we've now got them to describe the billing issue inside of the system. Yeah. And they're going to then talk to the bot. And I'm going to show you live how this works in a moment. And what I want to do is I want to put in another save instance in this because this is like good data for us when we come back. Yeah. Because I'll show you why this is important in a minute. So let me just show you this flow. We'll dive straight into it. And again, for you, like, I want you guys just to, you know, not only just start to feel like okay with this stuff, but actually play around with it, right? So let's dive into this thing. So hey, welcome to RayneAI. Nice to meet you. Who I have the pleasure of speaking with today? Bob. Right, Bob. Love the name Bob. What's your email? bob@bob.com. All right. So then it's going to start to think once again, and it's going to present us with the options. Support. All right. And he's going to present us with the other questions, right? And you can see how this has been built. And look, guys, you know this can take a long time to set up, or it can be quick, right? You can see how this can work. So in our example, we've chosen billing, right? And you can see once again, it's going to allow us then to ask to describe the issue. So I need to change my card because the card declined. Right now, this is going to end afterwards. It's going to give me it's going to give me nothing, right? You know, because I haven't created the flow. But it's definitely going to save it. And if I go back to this, like, you know, to this sort of like chat log, I think. Oh no, the responses. Sorry. If I go to the responses just here, you're going to see, and again, you can see here, it's logged in here, which, you know, you could literally have, ladies and gentlemen, you could literally have one member of staff checking this every single day and going back to customers, right? And again, I've done a lot of testing here, you can see, with like AI mode and stuff, but you can ignore that. So here we go. So it's like we've got in here Bob, support, billing, and then we can see his inquiry there. I need to change my card because the card declined, right? And then your support team can just go out and reach out to them, right? It's a way we can take these things in, you know, all night, right? All day and all night, all right? So that's pretty much how it works in terms of like the actual flow builder, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to start to, you know, do some AI mode stuff, yeah? So let's dive into it. So we're going to go back. And what we're going to do is I've created already in the dashboard, I've created a actual AI mode test bot, right? So let's do it here. So you see here, once again, this is pretty much a duplicate of the last one. Now, in order to create an AI mode bot in here, it's very, very simple stuff. Yeah. So we're going to go into AI mode and you're going to click on enable. Now, there are three main ways you can train your bot, right? The first one is we literally just, my company is called Rain AI. We do XYZ, right? That makes sense? All right. Now, this temperature bit here means like how off track it can come, right? What I mean by that is like how can it actually like are we going to give it 100% rain in order to like do whatever it wants, or do we need it to literally stick to the exact point? Yeah. So you see in this field, enter all this information, right? This is for the business context. Now, if we want it to follow 100% to our business context, we can. But if we want it to go a little bit rogue, we can, but play around with this because ultimately, like, you might want to put up somewhere in the middle. That's what I always do, right? Now, I never use business context. And the second one, if you click on this advanced one, is, we can click save on here. And what I want to do then is we can look at how do we start to train this bot. Yeah. So the first one we can do is we can upload documents, right? So I can take a document about my business, but my favorite of all is literally just using URLs. So you could literally take your website and you could literally just then go in and put the link, right? And it'll read it. Yeah. So let's do that. So RayneAI.com, which is of course our website. And I'm going to plug that in there. I'm going to go get our links. And you see here, right, we have a very, very simple website. And we're going to click train. And this is going to now start to train the AI bot. All right. If I just give it does take a little bit of time, but you can see I've just now done this and it's trained the AI bot on RayneAI, right? So let's now give this a run. So now that I've driven into this bot that we've got here at the side, what I'm going to do is just go into the flow builder. And I'm just going to show you an example of actually how this works, right? So you can see we go through all this flow, and then you can see that like in this example here where there's a tech support, you'll see that it goes into new option, they choose tech support, and then it's going to ask them prompting question. Yeah. And then after this prompting question, what's going to happen is we're going to drive into the AI mode. Yeah. Now, in this account, what I've done is I've not actually enabled the AI mode, but I'll show you how you can do that so that this, pretty much just works. So we're going to go back. I'm going to go away from here, and I'm going to then go into the other account that we've got, which is inside this bot menu that we've just configured. So if we go into the dashboard, AI mode bot, and I want to drive into this flow builder now and just show you an example of kind of how this actually works. Yeah. So in here, what we've done is we've put together a very simple flow, asking what the name is, nice to meet you, what the question is, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how this, how this works, right? But it's not going to work specifically because I want to show you guys what you need to do in order to actually make this work. Because, of course, this is a test, yeah? So in here, we've got pretty much a simple flow. And I'm going to go drive back into here, and I'm going to go OK, and I'm just going to check that the AI mode is all completed. You can see it's trained fully in here. Now, the response we get is not going to be perfect, guys, right? Because I've not spent the time today to make this perfect like you guys will do, yeah? But I'm going to show you how this works briefly. So it's going to be welcome to Rain Holdings, and it's going to be hey. And it's going to drive straight into like, how can I assist you, right? So, and again, hey, please help with building RayneAI.com solutions, right? So we've driven that in there, and it's going to think about it. And there we go. It's taken from everything within it knows about our website. And again, I'll show you how we can change this all around in just a moment, because this is pretty much like a huge response, yeah, like a huge response. But you can literally go into like anything, right? You know, what blogs do you have, right? It might give me an error code here because I've not connected the OpenAPI key, but it should be okay. Here we go. So it actually has done that, right? It's got into the website there, and it's just given us the blogs. All right, you can see here, if I go to blog, this is pulling directly from our website, from the blogs. Yeah, and you can see, you know, in terms of like you guys, I must have already put in some kind of like back end things in here to make this work. But you can see here that you can connect your Open API key in here. Yeah, I think I actually deleted mine just before this, so you couldn't see it, and it must like be still working like somehow. Anyway, this can be then connected into other tools, and we can make this an agent using Zapier. Yeah, which is important. You can see here that you know, I'm gonna have to blur that out probably on the Zapier, but ultimately you can see how this thing works. Yeah. So that is pretty much how this thing works in terms of, you know, setting it all up, right? And of course, I'll put a link below on how you can do this. So let's drive straight back into the presentation and wrap the rest of this presentation up together. So present. All right, so we did our sort of full presentation just there on like a demo as such as how this works. But what I want you guys to start to understand is like when we build out AI solutions, I want you to understand like not only what my company focus on in terms of like setting everything up, right? So this is a very simple like AI infrastructure that my team would put in companies. And I want you guys to, you know, I'm not trying to sell you things here, but I want you to understand how this AI chatbot can flow within this service, right? Or within this overall ecosystem. So, you know, in this case, this is more for actually qualification. However, you could literally have in your qualification, you could also have a customer service agent that takes care of qualifying leads or, you know, dealing with customer inquiries, right? Okay, so hopefully that's been helpful in terms of how it all fits together. We've gone through the theory, the strategy, and of course the execution. So, closing words, ladies and gentlemen, AI agents are changing the game with customer support, creating 24/7 service without expanding your team. Implementing this technology, it's going to give you a competitive edge. Your business deserves the support that never sleep. Okay. However, I said that, right? And ultimately, your customers deserve it and your business deserves it as well. The future of exceptional customer service is to be, you know, always available, right? And be automated, intelligent, and just always there. Closing word, ladies and gentlemen. So, AI agents are changing the game when it comes to customer support, creating 24/7 service without expanding your team. Implement this technology now to stay competitive. Your business deserves support that never sleeps. And the future of exceptional customer service is here. It is automated, it is intelligent, and it is always available. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elliot Rayne. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all very soon. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Ciao, ciao, ciao.